Daychak here with Queen Bee Creations Home. I am going to be starting a new project and I wanted to share this one with you because it's really a quick makeover. So if you like getting these tips and these quick ideas, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, keep them coming at you. But it's not unusual for us to come across these kinds of pieces. Great shape, the leather is still perfect, the wood is in great shape, they're really solid chairs, very comfortable chairs, but they look old, they look dated, and don't tend to fit into a lot of people's decor. So I want to give you a really quick way to be able to update this, zero skill involved, so perfect, just using two things. One, a little bit of paint, and second, some furniture transfers. So we're going to get started with painting. And here's where I throw people off. Yes, you can paint fabric, and I have a video that you can refer to on painting a fabric chair. Probably have a couple more coming. I love doing that. But you can also paint leather. And the paint adheres really well. It does not crack. It's awesome. So for this chair, for this look, now I'm using a chalk paint. You could use, I would have loved to have used a clay paint. This idea is completely stolen from the inspiration of Debbie Beard from Debbie's Design Diary. I'll throw a link in so that you can see the stunning settee, love seat settee that she did using this exact technique. So I'm stealing directly. Because I loved it. And I think you're going to like it too. All we're going to do is we're going to paint it black. Now I'm using Annie Sloan chalk paint because quite honestly, right now I'm a little limited in terms of what I can get access to. Shipping is kind of crazy. It's just crazy times right now. But all that we're going to do is paint everything black. I'm painting the wood black, I'm painting the furniture tacks black, and I am painting the leather black. We're going for a nice, rich kind of look, and we're relying on the transfers to be able to give us that pop of color. So as you can see, this is going to be super easy because we don't have to worry about working around fabric or working around tacks. Everything is going to be the same color. And unlike fabric, so if you watch the fabric video, you know that I have to get the fabric wet. I have to be spraying it because we're staining the fabric with the paint. With leather, we're just painting it. We're not staining it. So we can go right over the top. Look at how rich that already looks. This is great for those of you that maybe have old, tired leather furniture. It's maybe still in great shape, but the leather's looking a little bit worn. You can update it and you can refresh it by painting it. It's that easy. So this step, all we're going to be doing is painting the entire thing black. We're going to do 2 coats of the black. I'm going to sand lightly in between. And then we're going to move on to the next step. This is the second step in our process. So what is done right now? 2 coats of our black paint, and I was using the Annie Sloan Athenian Black. We've got 2 coats of our black paint on this, and it's been lightly sanded, so it's nice and smooth in most of the areas. It's got a nice good feel to it. Before we go into working on our transfers, we want to top coat this. The transfers work better going over a top coat, and as much as I've done them over just over paint on furniture, I'm not going to be able to push the transfers onto this to adhere as easily as I can onto a hard surface that doesn't have the give. So I definitely want to make it as easy as possible for the transfers to be able to stick where I'm going to be applying them, which is up here and on the back of this, in which case I'm going to top coat it. Now, because it's what I've got, I'm going to be using Fusion Mineral Paint Top Coat. This is in a matte finish, because I don't want this to be super glossy or anything. This is just a water-based poly, and we are just going to paint it over. Now you can use whatever the poly of your choice is. I prefer the water-based just because of the ease of cleanup, and I'm lazy. But we're just going to add a quick coat. What I will do is I'm just going to do one coat of the poly on the places where I'm going to be adding the transfers, but I will be doing a second coat over the whole piece after the transfers have been attached. So I'm just going to do that second coat all at the same time. You can see that it deepens that color of the paint. It's going to look great. Hey, we are now ready for our next step. This has got one coat of a polyacrylic sealer on it. Normally I would use, if I was just painting this chair, I would have used wax, but because I want to apply transfers to it, I need to use the polyacrylic. But if you look at this and you see this, look how flexible that still is. So there's not going to be an issue with this in terms of sitting on it. I'm not going to be applying the transfers to the seat though, because I'm not sure how well the transfers would stand up to being sat on, and I think there might be some cracking then. But I am going to apply the transfers to the back, the front of the back, the front of the back of the chair, and then also to the actual back of the chair. So which ones I decided to use is from Redesign with Prima, and I'm using the Wondrous Floral because I don't want it to be too bright, and I think some of those dark, rich purples and things would look great with this. So what I am going to do is have those florals running right across this whole back, and what I'm going to do before I get started though is kind of cut it down so I'm not dealing with a lot of excess paper. I want it to kind of curve into these sections a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to cut them all down, and then we'll start rubbing them on, and I'll show a little bit of how to do that. I have the first transfer kind of cut out and laid out here. And so what you do is you're going to take the little stick that comes in the package, so it comes right in the box, and you are going to rub this transfer on. Now, this is easier on a piece of furniture because the furniture is a lot stiffer than this. In this case, it's going to take a little bit more work to be able to get the transfer to stick and to release, but you can kind of practice in some of the sections, and you will see when that transfer starts to let go. I've got one little spot here that hasn't done it, and then I'll show you. You can see how this starts to adhere onto your piece of furniture. So we're going to put this full sticker on and then come with the matching sticker on the other side. Final touch for this little chair is just to kind of highlight some of those furniture tacks that are on it. So I have a little bit of rub and buff in an antique gold, and I tend to prefer to just have this on my fingertips so that I can just hit the tops of those tacks just very lightly, and then come back with another finger and just kind of buff it a little bit on the top. So you're not looking at outlining every one of them, you're just looking at a little bit of the dusting, but you can see already that it just kind of highlights them and adds just a little bit more of a touch to it. So we're going to go all the way around, highlight those. This just kind of seals up on its own, doesn't need anything else. And then it's done. Pretty easy, lovely little finish on this. This is all nice and smooth, perfectly comfortable. We've highlighted a little bit on the arms, but nothing that's going to be in the major wearable areas, and totally flexible still. We'll take a couple of close-up pics of it for you, and we'll add those to this. But awesome little project, very quick to be able to do, and super easy. Great way of being able to dress up any old leather chair that you've got lying around that just doesn't kind of cut it in terms of a decor. Old and tired, definitely looking brand new. Next.